we need to make sure to protect our rivers and lakes. Let's review about SDG 6.
Your eyes might just glaze over. It sounds so bureaucratic. But for millions of people, one of these goals is a daily matter of life and death. Today, we're going to dig into SDG 6, and we're going to do it by looking at one of the most water-stressed countries on Earth, Pakistan.
But before we dive into all the policy stuff, just think about this for a second. What if the water you needed to live, the water you drink, you cook with, you clean with, was the very same thing that was making your family sick? For millions, that's not some hypothetical question. It is their reality, every single day.
All right, so to really get our heads around just how deep this crisis goes, we first have to understand what the ideal even looks like. What is the world trying to do when it comes to water? Well, that ideal has a name, Sustainable Development Goal 6, or SDG 6 for short. You can think of it like a global promise. Nearly every country on the planet signed on to make sure every single person has clean water and sanitation by the year 2030. It's a massive, incredibly ambitious goal, and it's absolutely critical.
And when you look at what this covers, you realize it's huge. This isn't just about having a tap in your home. We're talking about managing the entire water cycle. Everything from safe drinking water and working toilets, all the way to cleaning up our rivers, using water smarter for things like farming, and protecting the very ecosystems that give us water in the first place.
Okay, so that's the global dream. Now, let's crash back down to a national emergency. Because for Pakistan, a country with more than 230 million people, SDG 6 isn't just another item on a development checklist.
It is truly an existential challenge, and that is not an exaggeration. The country's health, its economy, its future stability, it's all tied directly to water. And right now, Pakistan is facing a crisis on so many different fronts.
So where do you even start with a problem this massive? Well, the best way to understand it is to break it down. We can think of it as 4 separate but totally interconnected crises. So let's walk through them one by one. First up, let's talk about the big one, the one you've probably heard about, water scarcity. This is the one that always grabs the headlines. The simple, terrifying fact that Pakistan is literally running out of water. This chart, wow, it just lays it all bare. Just look at that drop. Back in 1947, there were over 5,000 cubic meters of water available for every person. Fast forward to 2023, and that number has plummeted to around 930. Now here's the real kicker. The official line for water scarcity is anything below 1,000. So Pakistan crossed that dangerous line years ago, and things are only getting worse.
But here's the thing. Scarcity is only one piece of this puzzle. That leads us to the second crisis, which is all about access. And not just access to water, but access to safe drinking water. Because having a water pump nearby doesn't mean the water it gives you is safe to drink.
And this is where the numbers just become staggering. Now, safely managed is a technical term, but all it really means is that the water is close by, it's there when you need it, and most importantly, it's free from dangerous contamination. Only 43% of Pakistan's population has that. Just let that sink in for a moment. That means the majority of the country, over 130 million people, are drinking water every day that could be making them seriously ill. And that brings us to crisis number 3. And this one, it isn't just about public health. It's about basic human dignity. We're talking about the crisis of sanitation and hygiene.
Get ready for this, because this next number might just be the most shocking one yet. Safely managed sanitation basically means you have a toilet that's connected to a system that actually treats the waste. In huge parts of Pakistan, the percentage of people who have access to this is effectively zero. Zero. It's a complete and total system failure.
So, you gotta ask, right? Where does all that untreated waste go? Well, that question leads us directly to our fourth and final crisis, the pollution from wastewater that poisons the entire water system. Over 90%. Let me say that again. More than 9 out of every 10 gallons of sewage from homes, from factories, gets dumped directly into the country's rivers and streams with absolutely no treatment at all. And here's where you can really see how this all locks together into one giant, vicious cycle. The untreated sewage from the sanitation failure? It goes straight into the rivers, polluting them. Then, people who live downstream use that same polluted river water to drink and cook, which of course fuels the disease crisis. It is a perfect, terrible loop. Okay, so after hearing all of that, you have to be thinking, surely someone is doing something about this. The government has to have a plan, right? Well, the answer is yes, they do.
And that's what brings us to this really strange and incredibly frustrating paradox.
And here's the twist. On paper, the plan looks great. Pakistan has a national sanitation policy, a big national water policy, even a brand new water conservation strategy. All the official documents, all the right words, they all seem to be there.
So that leads to the million-dollar question. If all these great policies are on the books, why is the crisis still getting worse? This right here is the absolute heart of the problem. It's what's called the implementation gap.
And this slide just says it all. I mean, look at this. It puts it in black and white. On the left side, you've got the official policy goals: conserve water, improve quality, safe sanitation for everyone. And on the right side, you've got the grim reality we just walked through: extreme scarcity, massive contamination, and basically zero safe sanitation. The disconnect is just absolute.
The source material that we've been digging through, it has the perfect phrase for this. It calls the problem, and I'm quoting here, a catastrophic gap in implementation. The plans exist, they're sitting in a file somewhere, but they just aren't being put into action on the ground where it actually matters. This isn't just about a lack of pipes and treatment plants, it's a failure of governance.
And that's what leaves us with the really tough question, isn't it? For a country like Pakistan, or really any place facing a crisis this big, when having a perfect plan on paper just isn't enough, what comes next? What does it actually take to turn words into water? That's a question worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for your time to learn, earn, and lead. This is Mohammad Zishan Awan, Advocate High Court. To join Vision 2047, please register with us and be part of the transformation.